Hi everyone, welcome again to another edition of Story Time with Robbie. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying this amazing summer and so far. Today I'm going to be reading The Squirrels Who Squabbled by Rachel Bright. And I'm going to be reading Fox and Squirrel by Ruth Oy. And we're going to be reading Fox and Squirrel Make a Friend by Ruth Oy. Hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Alrighty, everybody. The first story I'm going to read today is The Squirrels Who Squabbled by Rachel Bright. Here we go. In a towering forest where summer had been, the leaves turned gold as cold wind blew in. As autumn arrived with a sky raging red, the sleepiest creatures got ready for bed. Well, up in a tree swung a flighty young squirrel who everyone knew as Spontaneous Squirrel. Now, most foresty folk had seen to their needs, though the plentiful mouths of mushrooms and seeds. They built up their stores so they'd all be well fed, though the frosting of winter that glittered ahead. But Cyril, he lived in the now and the here. He adventured and partied his way through the year, so his cupboard was empty, his hollow was bare. He hadn't a mouthful food anywhere. But wait, what was that over there? Take a look. A single lone pine cone wedged in a nook. He squealed with delight, and for a very good reason, for inside were the very last nuts of the season. But Cyril wasn't alone. There were more hungry eyes. Yes, plan ahead, Bruce had his sights on the prize. Though he gathered fresh treasures of every sort, Bruce was convinced he was one pine cone short. I simply must have it, he wishfully cried as he dreamt of fresh, juicy pine nuts inside. So as Cyril set off on his way to the ground, Bruce, he was also last pine cone bound. They sprinted and scurried with no time to gamble. They scratched at the bark in the scampering scramble. But their panic and haste shook the tips of the sprouts and the pine cone. It trembled and then it came loose. "It's mine!" shouted Cyril. "No, mine!" hollered Bruce. "You don't stand a chance." "Give it up! It's no use! I'm hungry!" cried Cyril. "This cone is not yours. Stay back!" shouted Bruce. "This cone's for my stores." It's boinged over bushes and flew through the air. It binged on the nose of a slumbering bear. It bounced over boulders, then came to a stop. Then it teetered and wobbled and quivered and plop. Both squirrels followed. Oh, the water was fast. Would they learn that they needed each other at last? But each was intent on how he could win. So they didn't quite notice a bird swooping in. Squirrel and Bruce, they watched in dismay as their cone disappeared up, up, and away. Do you want me to say go again? Come back, shouted Squirrel. There are nuts, exclaimed Bruce, but all hope was gone. It was simply no use, and meanwhile they drifted right up to the ledge. Greed, it was driving them over the edge. Squirrel and Bruce, they had taken a fall. They were paying the price for wanting it all. They squandered their chances to team up and share. Would their nutty young hopes simply end in despair? Bruised and bedraggled, they swept past dry land. Squirrel grabbed at a branch with a trembling hand. Catching Bruce with the other, he heaved and he huffed and pulled him to safety with panting and puffs. They dragged themselves up with sputtering wiggles. Then Bruce looked at Squirrel and exploded in giggles. How silly are we, he managed to mutter. How greedy I've been, he proclaimed with a splutter. We shall change from today. May the squabbling cease. We should celebrate, seeing we're both in one piece. From that day and forward, they made a great pair. They would gather together and found they owled share. Yes, Squirrel and Bruce, they knew in the end the best thing to share is a laugh with your friend. With your friend. The end. Alrighty, everybody, the second story I'm going to read today is Fox and Squirrel by Ruth Oy. Here we go. We are very different, said Squirrel. Not that different, said Fox. You're so big, said Squirrel. Not that big, said Fox. I like to climb, said Squirrel. You can't. You climb well, said Fox. I live in a nest, said Squirrel. You live in a burrow. Both are safe and warm, said Fox. I eat nuts and berries, said Squirrel. So do I, said Fox, sometimes. I like the day, said Squirrel, and you like the night. We both like sunsets, said Fox. It's raining, said Squirrel. It's raining, said Fox. Splash, sploosh. How can you two be friends, said Rat. You are both so different. Not so different, said Squirrel. We both have pointy ears, said Squirrel, and bushy tails. Well, bushy tails sometimes, said Fox. We both like to run and play and rest, said Squirrel. Said Rat. All I can see are differences. And then Rat crawled back into his hole. We both get cold, said Squirrel. Achoo! We both like to be warm, said Fox. What are friends for, said Squirrel. Hey, Mr. Rat, come see. The end. Alrighty, everybody. The third story I'm going to read today is Fox and Squirrel Make a Friend by Ruth Hoy. Here we go. Squirrel loved the tops of trees. Come and see what I see, said Squirrel. Okay, said Fox. Erg, erk, ugh, pluck. Maybe start smaller, said Squirrel. So Fox tried smaller. This is exciting, said Fox. Boing. Then whoosh went the wind. Squirrel landed in a tree. Fox did not. What do you see? Said Fox. Everything, said Squirrel, and something yellow. I can stand on one foot, said Yellow Bird. Me too, said Squirrel. Me too, said Fox from below. I can hop from branch to branch, said Yellow Bird. Me too, said Squirrel. Me too, said Fox. Hop, hop, oof. I can swoop and soar, said Yellow Bird. Swoop, oops. You swoop well, said Squirrel, scrambling back up to Yellow Bird. Fox swooped, Fox soared. Flap, flap. Squirrel does not need me, said Fox, so Fox went home. Back up in the branches, Yellow Bird flew. I'm fast, said Yellow Bird. My friend Fox is fast too, said Squirrel. But where was Fox? I do not see everything, said Squirrel. I do not see Fox. Squirrel scrambled down and found Fox. Fox, this is Yellow Bird, said Squirrel. Yellow Bird, this is Fox. I hear you are fast, said Yellow Bird. Fox smiled. Race you! The end. Alrighty, everybody. Really hope you enjoyed the books today, and thank you so much again for joining me and for watching. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you and read with you. Remember, please comment on the video as always and let me know what you think of the picks. I always like to hear your feedback on the books that I read. And please let me know what your favorite story was that I read today. Have an outstanding rest of your day, and I will see you here on the next edition of Storytime with Robbie. Please stay safe, and I will see you then. Toodaloo.